State of the Nation press conference on the shrinking media and civic space in Nigeria took place in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, on 1st July 2021 and was addressed by the Executive Director of Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education, Dr. Ibrahim Zikarullahi, while delivering a keynote address, spoke at length on the plot to undermine and silence the voices of the media in Nigeria. According to him, there have been surreptitious introduction of harsh legislations attempted to give sweeping powers to government to curtail the rights of citizens, and also there is a renewed onslaught by political actors who appear to have reached disturbing conclusion that gagging the media and shrinking the civic space as the fundamental objectives and directive principle of state policy, despite facing serious governance challenges such as chronic insecurity, mass unemployment, and many others. Furthermore, he stated that instead of the government to promote and protect the constitutional right of freedom of speech and expression of media, it has exhibited crass and excessive passion on putting legislations and policies whose sole objective is to stifle freedom of expression and muzzle the press and civil society. He hereby called on the federal government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, and the National Assembly to understand the danger and consequences of their action, as the Resource Center for Human Rights and Civic Education mandate is to ensure that repressive provisions at gagging the press are corrected and exposed.
The federal government, led by President Muhammadu Buhari and the National Assembly, must understand the danger of what they have been doing. Many of those who populate the government today were a few years ago in the opposition. If there was no freedom of expression, would they have been able to sell their ideas, including their many unfulfilled promises to the Nigerian people? The lesson those in power today need to learn, therefore, is that power and everything connected to it is transient and ephemeral. If some of the draconian laws they are proposing become reality, they will one day be out of power, only for those same laws to be used against them. Nonetheless, beyond expressing outrage about the attempts to cow the independent media, CHRICED believes well-meaning citizens and groups must come to terms with the reality that the battle line has been drawn. And it is time to evolve strategies which will ensure the press does not become the appendage of political power, which is bent on rendering it important.
You ask the question, should the minister, if the minister is removed, will we be comfortable? My answer to that is that, how about having a situation like you have in INEC, where you have a professional, a thoroughbred professional journalist who has practiced, so if you have a group of professionals like that are drawn from the NUJ, drawn from the Nigerian Guild of Editors, who have a level of independence to be able to adjudicate cases and superintend the process, then we will be more comfortable. But if you have a government that would now say the information minister will be the one to determine what the press code is, he will be the one to determine whether you should get a license or not, he will be the one to regulate the entire sector, then you have already thrown away the independence that is the strong pillar on which the media's role in society would rest. So for us, that's a fundamental issue. We are not saying that there are no problems to address. There's the problem of fake news. There's the problem of people disinforming people, people misinforming people. Those are challenges, and even those problems can be better addressed when you have more of literacy, media literacy, digital literacy, and not regulation per se. But if you insist on regulating, do not put the powers in the hands of a partisan, someone who would definitely use it in very, very sinister ways.
These are critical challenges that we will feel the government should focus on if they really want us to have an open society where democracy thrives. So, regulating free speech or Twitters and whatever they call them, I must tell you, it's not in the best interest of Nigerians. I'll give you an example. In 2014, I was selected by the State Department of the United States of America to be an IVLP, That's International Visitors Leadership Program. We were taken through the system of the US government. We were taken through various departments, and I asked the question, you have not mentioned Department of Information. They told me clearly that they don't have Department of Information. That is Ministry of Information. And that the reason is that the right to receive and impart information is an inalienable right that is bestowed on every human being by God himself. And that the power of America rested on their ability to gather information. And therefore they don't need to put a ministry in place to regulate that freedom. So you can just imagine the thinking of a progressive society.
Zainab Ahmed, Voicetv, Nigeria.